What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 2022 United States Women's Disc Golf Championships.
No, dude, that's next week.
Oh, yeah, that is next week. We'll get back to the preserve. But first, we have to tell you, breaking news, JomezPro is covering all four rounds of our next major championship, the United States Women's Disc Golf Championship. And that is next week, Kona.
It's next week. It's the largest women's disc golf event in history. Coverage begins Friday, July 1st.
And not only that, but we have a special edition of the practice round with special guests. Tune in next Wednesday, June 29th to find out who.
Also, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Preserve Championship. We are here in Clearwater, Minnesota for another Disc Golf Pro Tour event. This time, we have got BigBarri commentary. Good to have you back in the booth, my friend, Paul Ulibarri.
Thank you. Good to be here, and I am excited to watch some phenomenal disc golf on one of the best courses we have to play on the disc golf circuit.
We have got a star-studded lineup. As always, we have got Barsby on the card, the 2018 world champion. Joining him is going to be another world champion of sorts. 5 sorts, to be exact. Paul McBeth. Finished 3rd in the 2021 Preserve.
Possibly a future world champion, Kevin Jones, coming at you at 20. He tied for 8th last year. That's solid. That's solid.
Kevin Jones has had an up and down year, and it's going to be a very solid second half for him. I'm guessing he has a lot to prove. He is so good. And Luke Humphries, what an amazing first half he's had to the season. He's a very solid player joining us on our practice round this week. Going to be excited to see what he brings out here today.
My real name is Eric Hutchison, but everybody knows me as Hutch out here. I've been the course manager and running the pro shop. I had the opportunity to meet Kale 3 years ago with my best friend and partner, Josh Winter. We knew the owners of this course. Kale had looked at it a year before, so just by chance, my best friend and I got to go to Kale's house and sell ourselves and say, hey, we want to run this course for you. The pandemic hit and it kind of launched everything right up into the air. People had some time. We were able to step in and start running the course with Kale. My vision first had to be Kale's vision, like follow the legend. I'm working with Kale and it's taken 3 years for that to become real. He had that vision to build a place that's a sanctuary of a course where you kind of feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. You can get here, eventually more camping, maybe more staying on site regularly. And then I start putting the Hutch touch on it a little bit, and I think everybody, once they step foot on this site, they know that this is, it's a preserve, man. It's the best place. So I remember when Kale got the call 3 months after we'd been open that the Pro Tour was going to come. And it was really a blessing because the first year we got to experience a tournament without 1,000 spectators. So it was very relaxed, it was special. We were getting out of the pandemic lockdown, and that first year was unique, everybody was so grateful. To have that here in Minnesota, have that tournament. Second year, you just start learning how all the pieces come together. And this third year, I think all the footage and all the fun is gonna kind of speak for itself.
A beautiful insight into this property, which, it's crazy to think that this course and this property and this project is less than 600 days old, and yet we are in the 3rd season of the Disc Golf Pro Tour already on this property. And as Hutch said there in that preview, that this course has got Kale's made changes and Hutch has made changes every year, but not too many. This course is like within 3 months of design. Basically, we have what we have here in front of us.
First on the box from
pretty incredible.
Texas, please give a warm welcome for Greg Barsby.
One of those holes that have not changed is hole 1. Par 4, 708 feet. They did bring the OB line from the left a little bit tighter, so it is a tighter fairway. You got straight headwind. You're going to see a lot of shots try to drift to that right side.
Yeah, that is the safe place to miss, and Greg has hit the tree and made this spectators scatter a bit. That is the safe way to miss,
Next up
because
from
if you go
Huntington
be
Beach,
left,
California, let's hear it for Paul McBeth.
it used to require you getting down into the water. Now it's all the way up the hill into the high grass is where that OB line is placed now. But you can see those feather banners are ripping into the face as these players are trying to keep the disc low here, and Paul has just enough hyzer to get back into the fairway. That's a beautiful shot.
From Greenwood, Arkansas, please give a warm welcome to Kevin Jones.
Obviously, being only 708 feet, you're not looking for a crazy amount of distance. A 350 shot gives you an 8-footer. That's pretty nice. What do you think? Do you think distance gives you a better angle into this green, or are those trees kind of put in the exact
And
spots?
from Wichita, Kansas, give it up for
I
Luke
think-
Humphries.
I think certainly anyone would take a 450-foot drive on this one versus a 350, but I mean, I think that not only because of the shortened approach, but also because I think the angle for the gap widens substantially the farther up you get.
Right, and that's the point I'm trying to get at. So it does benefit you to go a little bit farther.
Totally, in many ways. Luke keeping that one really low. It looked like it was grounded right out of his hand, but it ended up in a decent spot. He's probably looking to go for the 350 route that you'd mentioned.
Come on.
Oh, Greg trying to play safe and unfortunately flirting too close with that line and finding the out-of-bounds side of the fairway.
Now, mind you, just because it was a headwind on the first shot, this next shot coming over that water, it changes directions and it pushes you really far left. It'll lift you on that hyzer line and throw you to the left side. So, kind of a tricky upshot.
Totally. Yeah, and then that's reason number 3 for why you want the extra distance. Look at McBeth making the adjustment, seeing Luke's, and that is flirting with the OB, and it is OB, and I don't think he crossed at all, so that's going to be a huge mistake for McBeth.
A mistake.
A mistake. Usually those are tasty, but not this time. Kevin going huge with the hyzer shot. That had such a wild angle of trajectory out of his hand, but man, it got all the way up there, and he's got a putt for the birdie.
Yeah, that last little angle can really show you how bad the wind is kind of swirling and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I think one of the things today is angle control. With the way that Kale's designed this course, he really wants the wind to be up. He said that.
Oh, he's been begging for it.
Every time I talk to him, he's like, "Oh, I just want it to get a little windy."
He got that today. I mean, it's certainly been blustery. Oh,
Hello.
Luke Humphries! What?
Look what I found, he says.
What a hyzer putt to start the tournament off.
Over, around, through.
Oh, and a little tree kiss. Give it to him. What a putt.
350.
Yeah, 350, 300, maybe 295, then 55. And Kevin.
Yeah, just didn't quite get the release we're used to seeing right there. A little wobbly, maybe a little nerves to start.
Yeah, also low ceiling. Kev can definitely drive his putt on a low ceiling line, but, you know, he's human and everyone needs a little bit of reprieve from the leaves. If they can be just a little bit higher, gives them a little bit less anxiety with that putt.
Yeah, definitely more comfortable. Greg Beatlesby?
Stop it. Surprising with the bogey start that we saw there or the bogey start for McBeth and Barsby.
Very, very surprising, but
With the headwind, it makes
Exactly,
it
yeah.
very tricky. On to hole 2, par 3, 318 feet. This is the second year of this tee pad being brought back about 40 feet or so. And this year they have elevated the basket, whereas hole 3, which has been elevated, is now back to ground level. So they just did a little swap-a-roo on these two. But you have the double Mando here very early.
did he put enough Anheuser? He did.
Oh, my goodness. It was I thought too high, hitting the limb, but thank goodness that limb was there, slowing down Luke's approach, and he's now only 15 feet away. Did that miss the mandatory?
It did.
Yes, it did.
It did miss the mandatory, and that's one of the tricky parts about this is in practice you can be playing this hole. It's the biggest gap you've ever seen, and as soon as they call 2 minutes, man, that thing shrinks.
Yeah. Barsby pulling his a little bit right, but making the mandatory. From there, that'll just be an easy pitch up.
Yeah, Paul going with a little mid-range. Let's see if he can get that. I feel like he throws his best shot on I was just going to say a low line drive.
Uh-huh.
You know.
And he goes high hyzer and almost puts it inside the bullseye.
Looks like a nice little kick, though.
Yeah.
That looked like a misrelease to me.
Yeah, just a bit. So Kevin gets to go up to the FPO, which is just a bit easier, but still tricky.
That wasn't the
Oh
FPO
my
tee
God.
pad.
That wasn't?
No.
Oh, it's a retee. I think it is a retee if you miss the mandatory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he just re-teed from there.
Yeah, you have. You're totally right. And look at Kevin's approach, getting the double kiss inside the circle, and he's got this to save the bogey. And whoops.
Yeah, air ball there to the left. That's fine as long as that's his only one of the day. Not talking about Paul's birdie, of course. That would be be a bummer.
That would be a big time bummer. This is definitely one of these courses that fits into this sprinter's mentality as far as getting birdies early, often, and continuously throughout the event. Players are going to be, as long as the wind's down, as Luke squeaks that one into the left side, as long as the wind is manageable. I mean, this is a lot of wind for what we're used to seeing out here at the preserve, but it's not unmanageable as far as the difficulty. It just makes things a little trickier. If it stays like this, players are going to be looking to be averaging double figures to come out as the winner here this weekend.
Hole 3, par 3, 408 feet, but today this thing is playing shorter because there is a massive tailwind. You do have out of bounds left across the path. Fairway driver, and you're going to see mid-ranges on this hole as well. You don't want to show the bottom of the disc to the right side, otherwise it's not coming back, just like that one.
Yep, this is gone. Unless it gets a little lucky, this is going to be across the path. Yep. So Luke makes his first mistake here.
And that has to do with that, you're not seeing it, obviously, because wind is clear and we're watching video, but I promise you it is there, and there's that mid-range right there.
Yep. It's going to get a little soft skip, stay up on top of the hill, just as Paul drew up. Also to note, to the right side in the wood line is, if you go way right, there's the Mississippi River on the other side of these trees, and there's a lot of rain, a lot of late snow this season, and that water line is much higher than it's been in years past up here. So if you do pull it to the right, if the wind switches and we have a headwind, that will be in play, and there are OB pockets in there and all sorts of different things you don't want to get into. Kev not giving it the height required, and that's going to come up well short.
There's a good look at that flag.
Got to keep this one really high, but watch out for the extra spin out down the hill.
See if Luke can keep that hot putter hot. This one from about 60.
That's going to come up left. Really, the blueprint for success out here at the preserve, on the first 5 holes, you want to be 2 under. That's kind of the number that you have circled as Barsby chains out left, with 4 and 5 coming up as very daunting par 4s. Getting these early birdies is crucial to getting off to a hot start out this course. And we're not going to really see that from these guys.
No.
Unless Luke is able to pick up a birdie or 2 on 4 and 5.
Or Paul.
Or Paul now. He's at one under as well. But these next 2 holes are quite difficult, as you're going to see.
Barsby coming off a great win in Minnesota Majestic.
That's right. That's a huge tournament. That's a bucket lister for a lot of these long-time touring pros.
Absolutely. And coming into a tournament like this, maybe he could gain a couple fans. Maybe that crowd can push him.
Oh, the Barsbarians are always in full effect. I mean, he always brings a crowd.
You get a win in Minnesota, you're gonna be gathering a few more as well. What do we got here, Jerm?
Well, this is a par 4, 746 feet. The play off the tee is a big high anhyzer driver that stays turning right. There is a very narrow specific landing zone that you want to be in order to access your approach, which has a very low ceiling tunnel. Paul, this is a good angle. If it keeps flying, oh yeah, it does. This is going to be huge, but could potentially outdrive the gap. Oh my God, that's an insane drive.
He's in the gap, kind of. He did outdrive it, but I mean, that's going to be manageable because he's only 230 in.
There's not a single person in this tournament that would mind having the problem of outdriving the gap on hole 4. Oh, look at that. And that's that crosswind that's pushing left to right that's keeping these discs that were a little bit, if there was no wind, that would have been thrown too low. But Barsby riding the wind really well. I think Kevin's trying the roller here, and I don't think this is going to turn over quick enough.
No. Nope. I mean, it was a bomb. Don't get me wrong. That was...
Yeah. Well, in the par 4 position we played 2 years ago, that would have been a fantastic drive. That looked a good, clean release from Luke, but it's a little bit nose up, which is going to stall the drive, but still in a manageable position. That's probably going to be nearing 370 to the pin.
Right, but a straight gap. I mean, you hit the gap, you'll probably get paid off. Oh, here we go. Upside down. That's far to get.
I'm not quite sure what the intent was for that shot.
I think he was trying to get it up higher and maybe have it swing right, and then it just went straight.
That's going to be in a really bad spot, I fear.
Here's that shot. Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, anything, a par in this hole, fine. Move on.
Yeah. We'll have a long look.
Birdies feel really like you're gaining a stroke. When you get a birdie here, you feel like you've done a very, very good thing.
Barsby with a lace job here.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No way. No way. Are you serious?
That was a half-inch low. Let's see how this had to have been a half-inch low.
Yeah, this is, you're right, half-inch from the shot of the year so far.
Oh my gosh.
I had no clue that was coming. And this is an absolutely buku drive from Paul. Oh, and he's left it short, but when you're that close, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's kind of lucky that he caught the downslope right there.
Yes.
If he's any farther or I guess shorter, it might cut roll. And Kevin's still in a bad spot.
Yeah, you don't really get away from the mistakes on the left side or the early right side. Really, you have to be down the middle. But you can make up for it here.
Look good. Good height. Good run.
Full commit.
Yep, that's going to be a bogey, though. This could be a great save. Not going to happen. Couple testers coming back, too.
But that was for birdie, I think.
Oh, you're right. Yep.
It was a good effort from Luke's second, but yeah.
I guess he was closer than I thought on the approach.
Mm-hmm. Oh, McBeth does indeed pay the price for coming up short with his approach. There are a lot of tricky trees on this green, which adds to the difficulty of hole 4.
Don't want to waste a drive like that, but that's what we're going to have to do. And there's a good par putt now from Luke. I knew it was coming, you know?
Yes, of course. I mean, you're
been doing this a long time.
You're good at your job.
Kevin with a little cleanup. They're all about that same little awkward distance.
Yeah.
Those are considered good putts. Anything short of that's a cleanup. That's a good putt.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a transition period that I feel like a lot of players find out about when they make the jump from am to pro, and they get caught up in the nice run when people miss their putts, and you're like, hey, we don't say that when we miss our 30-footers. Like, what's the point of that? And then there's also the nice putt, and like, when do you say nice putt? At the 25th 20-foot range. 20
Yeah.
feet now.
Straddle.
Yeah, straddle. Like it's a good putt. You just say good putt, but it's always a funny thing that people figure out over time. Hole 5, Paul. What the heck is going on here, man?
One of my favorite holes on the course. This is par 4, 695 feet. But man, I like those tight ones off the tee, and that's exactly what this one gives you. You need to throw it at dead straight with a little left to right bend. If you go left or right, you're donezo. Just like this one.
Yeah, that's a beautiful fight for Barsby. My
I guess
goodness.
if you go right, you don't have to be donezo. If he gets any sort of kick right there,
Yeah.
par is best case.
You know why he got
Times
that
10.
kick? 2 reasons. 2018 World Champion, 2022 Minnesota Majestic Champion.
Paul just threw it dead straight. Very good shot.
That's
To
good.
explain the hole a little bit more, even if you throw a perfect drive with that drift,
Wow,
like where
another good kick.
Barsby is, that's not a guaranteed up and down.
Oh, no,
It's
no, no.
still almost as difficult. It's more difficult than the drive you just threw, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, is this going to keep breaking right? It is, but it's just doesn't quite have the height. All of these drives need another 60 feet to have a look at the pin. That doesn't mean you can't approach the fairway, but it's such a sharp turn to the right at a certain point that if you don't have the right angle, your disc cannot navigate this fairway all the way down.
Right.
You just have to be at a certain landing zone, otherwise you can kiss the birdie goodbye.
I love when par is a good score
That is certainly the case on 5.
with two good shots. I love that.
And Paul is trying to invent a way to get there, and it didn't quite go down the fairway, but it made its way through the fairway somehow.
Are we going with another
Yes.
over the top?
Absolutely. If you're out of position, this is a huge weapon on hole 5.
Okay. Didn't see where it went, but I think it's in there far enough that he's going to be able to probably get up and down.
I think this hole might have the record for most lean out forehands of any hole in the last 3 years. I mean, this is just a lot of shots end up going long on the second, and a lot of lean out forehands are the only way you can get up and down.
And you see Barsby throw 3 really good shots. Tap in par.
And that is why hole 5 here at the Preserve, the Black Bear course, is the hardest hole on the course. 4.49 average, just a half stroke above par.
Paul just looked up and shook his head.
Wow.
Like, am I really doing this?
That, I'm sure, was very
Yes.
difficult.
If he's shaking his head, it's probably pretty tough.
And this is Kev Jones' birdie look. Oh, heartbreaker.
Yep, Kevin's had a few of those already at that distance. When he gets hot from there, he can throw them in bunches. That was a great line.
And Kev is already 3 over par, needing that one to kind of get on the board and right the ship. Slow start for him.
Real rock or fake rock first before you go?
I think it's real. I think it's real. Is it real?
Oh,
I think it's real.
okay.
Hole 6, par 3, 390 feet. This is one of the easier holes you have on the front side. This is pretty wide open, but there is some low ceiling limbs on the left side of the fairway and on the right side as well, keeping players throwing probably fairway driver, probably a fairway driver for these guys. There is a right to left crosswind that you can see there with the feather banners.
I'm going to say, since it's on an old traditional golf course, that's
Wow.
fake rock.
What a beautiful lace job from Barsby. Dialed in with the stability.
I can't
there.
focus on that right now.
I can't
need
watch
to know.
this shot. What is that rock? Is it fake or not?
This is just perfect. But this is just a shot that Barsby has
Wow.
been throwing for years and years and years. Little baby flip up, dead straight.
Was that an eagle?
Yes.
Must have been an eagle.
Had
Maybe
to.
those new color glows.
Another guy
Oh,
I've
jeez,
noticed
baby.
to
Yeah.
throw these really good.
I've just seen him throw, I don't know, 95% great shots. Just completely different lines.
This is why this hole's hard. Right to left wind, so you have to turn it over just a little bit. What's so impressive about Paul right there is he didn't, which means you have to hit the angle precise, otherwise you get the lift up.
Totally. That is just I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is an underrated beauty of a shot. And Luke is going to get just outside bullseye, and we're going to no triple follow flight? Mike. Who am I yelling at here at the Jomez crew? That was worthy.
You have to have world championships to get the follow flight here.
Gotcha.
You have to have invented the shot that they threw, basically.
McBeth going hyzer with the right to left crosswind is a shot you cannot do at home. And if you can do that at home, then you should be at this tournament.
Yeah, you can't do it, though. I mean, you can't throw the shot to get here at home in that way. No, really.
Yeah,
though.
sure.
It's that hard.
No, Luke, maybe he didn't deserve the follow flight. He still had to work pretty hard. That was a good putt.
He almost deserved a Jomez there.
Little high there.
Great birdies here.
And birdie is the wordy for McBeth, who is now 2 under through 6.
On a calm day, yeah, sure, 390 dead straight, still a tough shot.
Yeah.
So I'm still sticking with it. You can't do it.
It's just
at home.
It's a wide enough fairway that is technical with the shape that the limbs present, that it feels like it's easy, but it's not necessarily easy. It's just still one you want to get.
Right.
Hole 7 is a par 5, 1,111 feet. The play now, which has changed, is to go right side of the pond. Before you had options, but Kale this time making it so all players are playing down the same fairway. Big shot, big shot. Your next shot is up to this very steep slope that has got to be at least 35-degree slope. Fortunately, it is mulch.
And it is a headwind, so this is playing a bit farther.
Yes, good point. The headwind is making it very tricky to navigate that proper stability, to not turn it over into the woods, but also not go OB in the water. That's perfect. Just play it wide. You'll never get to the tree line if you don't turn it over. If you just throw a hyzer at it, you will go far and you will swing back into the fairway. That's exactly what Paul did there.
You do need about 450 worth of power in order to be confident in that shot, though, because if you don't turn it over like this and you don't have that 450 hyzer power, easily lift up and not even clear. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah,
it's nice to have that little boost over.
This is really the shot just to set up the second shot. You just want to get safe and in a good position. If you mess up this shot, then you're scrambling the rest of the hole. But Kev getting huge distance there. It's going to maybe be slightly awkward with his run up with the tall grass, but I think he should be okay.
I like Kevin's a little more because he even took it over the tents on the right. Really safe play.
Barsby really getting full flex, but now he is not in a position where I think he's going to be able to easily access the green.
Yeah, that's going to be roller from there if I were to guess.
Kevin running up through the high grass, getting that disc to flip up and getting around. Oh, yeah, that's huge. There's that second group of high grass that you can see in the right side of your screen there. That's essentially where you're trying to get your second shot to be if you've got the power to get there into.
We'll just call it the garden area.
Sure. Luke, not known for a ton of power, but he gets the disc flexing and really trusts his angles and gets good distance with his angle control.
Does Paul get to the garden?
I don't think he's even trying to get to the garden. He's just trying to put himself in the Garden of Eating, not the Garden of Eden.
Barsby, this is just going to be a pitch out.
Very important on this pitch out to not take it for granted, because there's a huge bunker right in the middle of that fairway. If you end up right behind it, it can be very tricky.
You're talking about the tree.
The tree, but it serves as a bunker. I mean, it really is it's a pretty huge obstacle.
No, for sure. I was just translating for the people at home.
Correct. Paul turning that one over, that's actually maybe in a little bit of danger of going in the water. There is a little pond that has grown with the excess of rain and snow that they saw this winter. And there's the common roll that you see on this hole.
Wasn't going to be an easy putt to begin with.
No.
But
Now it's harder. So the 3 players who were in position all after their second shot didn't really take advantage of that position, and now it doesn't look like anyone's in really good position to get a birdie.
it's going to take a long one.
Great shot.
Barsby, who was never really in good position, ends up scrambling, and he's going to have a tap in par.
Interesting fellow, that Barsby character, because one of the best sidearms of all time decided to throw a little backhand in there. But that's probably to negate the roll away. So, smart play.
McBeth not necessarily enthused with his effort on his third shot. And Kevin is still not on the board yet. And disappointment is turning into anger and frustration right now.
I agree, but I also think that this is probably playing as one of the easiest holes on the course, but it's probably today one of the more difficult because of the headwind.
Yeah, it actually is the 4th most difficult, which is a bit surprising. I thought this
Right.
would be a softer par 5. Back to the action here on hole 8, one of the signature holes on the course, par 3, 406 feet. Cross the pond, Paul.
Across the pond you go. You do have swirly wind right here.
Yeah,
you
it's-
have crazy swirly wind, so angle is so important. You want to keep it on hyzer at all times. If you don't, you can go straight, and then you won't have a putt because it's really the teeth on this hole is going too straight.
Yep. The woods here are very tight, and there's a lot of weird lines, nothing that you can really rely on. That's the tree you got to beat. If Greg is like 4 feet left or short of that tree branch, I think he's looking at a park job.
Agreed, but what did we say? We got to keep it on that hyzer, and we can't get it to go straight.
But a hyzer as Paul is gonna. Wow! No way! That was so close. Oh my gosh! How did that not go in?
You could hear the crowd. They saw it. We saw it.
Oh.
Man, that was close.
And Kale was just begging. He's like, "Come on, somebody on coverage, get an ace on this hole. Let's get on Sports Center." Excellent efforts from Luke and McBeth. Let's see if Kevin can match that line and get his first birdie.
I like the hyzer. I like this a lot.
Sure. It's got to sit.
Okay, that's fine.
He's going to have obstructed putt. A little bit of a left to right wind off the tee on this hole. Normally we got the right to left.
Because Barsby hit that tree and kind of kicked left, he did have a little look there.
Mm-hmm.
Good bid. Kevin needs to get something going and quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that puts him to 2 over. That is far behind the leaders on the front 9.
Oh, no question. No question. There's going to be some hot starts. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 7 on the leaderboard.
Right.
6 or 7 would be... 6 would be the lowest, I think.
7 would just be out of control.
7 is tough to think of just because of the 4-5 stretch. As Luke gets that one in again left side. But you know what? When you're a good putter and you've put a lot of time in, even your misses seem to go in. Him and McBeth are moving to 3 under. And Greg will stay at 1. But yeah, that 4-5 stretch really is that's
Right.
the X factor. Because 1 is fairly easy, 2 is not easy at all. 3 plays easy if you're in the zone. If you just birdie 1 and 2, 3 gets a lot easier. But yeah, we'll see what the scores come in at here in a moment. Hole 9, the last hole in the front 9. Paul, what are we trying to do here?
Par 5, 1280. This one is a bit of a change from last year. You see the big distance, that's important. Instead of it being on the right-hand side where birdie was like almost impossible for half the field, this one is totally gettable, but you have to, it's the same tee shot as last year.
Yes.
Throw it as far as you can.
As far as you can. This is a distance showcase.
Yep. And then the next, don't do that. That's stalling out. He's going to lose about 100 feet of distance.
And it's going to be in the high grass, which is a no-no for this tee shot because you're just not going to be able to generate any speed into your next shot.
I do think that this hole this year is a little bit softer. This is turned over a bit too much. Oh, what a kick, though.
Well, it's a lot softer because, before you had to average 500 feet for 3 throws.
Was it 1,500?
It was 1,500 on the dot. So, Kevin, my goodness, that's a shot we wanted to see here. Big shot. That gets the crowd up and going. But, softer is a tough word to say about a 1,200-foot flat ground par 5. But when you have this much space to let it loose, this should be fairly simplistic for these players on tour.
But already we saw 2 people kind of mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
Still doable from where they are, but they're going to have to drop a couple really nice shots, and this ain't going to do it.
No, Luke is going to go backwards. And not completely backwards, but that roller is heading into a bad spot. That's a bad effort. When your van's parked at the course, that's not a good excuse. You got to figure that one out next time, Luke.
And Paul, knowing that he has really good distance, he just throws a controlled shot out there, and he's going to have, I would say, about 450 in.
At least. I would say more.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I would say more, just because you have to get so much distance on the tee. Otherwise, you're just scrambling again.
Well, that's to say that first one didn't go 400.
Mm-hmm. It's within McBeth's range, without question. And look at Kev just throwing a controlled shot. He got so much distance off the tee, didn't even need to really go for the big distance line. That being said, still managed to get over 450 feet.
Now, does Luke have the distance to get there?
I think you don't even try to cross that OB creek.
You just lay up. Is this laying up, though?
I think so. He's landing at that tree that you're trying to be at in 2.
I was just wondering if it was going to drift over left too far.
He's in a bad spot.
Okay.
Oh, McBeth going left of the tree with the flex line. Is this working?
Yes.
Oh, my God, it is. Wow, that was a highly ambitious attempt. And incredibly well executed. I think he must have been 500 plus out.
Yes. I like this.
And Barsby's broken this hole down very well. 3 very manageable shots. Nothing outside of his control. Kev is probably at the right under 400 range, and that is an effort that he will want back.
Yeah, from that distance, you're looking, especially with a backstop, you're looking to bullseye that.
Yeah,
for
just
sure.
try to dunk it. Luke is trying not to bogey the hole. And I think he's going to not bogey.
Almost birdied it. Very nice.
Really nice shot, especially left side of the tree.
This would be an incredible birdie save. Not to be.
And Luke and Paul are going to continue matching. Oh, they haven't matched scores, but they got the first 3 reversed. Other than that, they've been going tit for tat.
All right, Barsby needs to have a short memory of those last two guys and then pop this one right over it to the right.
Oh, boy.
I was afraid of that.
That can be contagious sometimes.
It really can. There's something about a couple guys hitting a couple big ones. You know, at that level that they're playing at on this tour, people think that you get big putted. No, that's motivation. That's very rare you see people make all 25 to 30 footers and the last person missed. That
You just
doesn't
made
happen.
that long putt? That basket must be huge. You know, oh my gosh, this person missed this person missed that. Like, what's going on out there?
Yeah.
It's two different schools of thought.
Basically, these are AMs on this card. Bradley Williams with a 7 under. Ezra Aderhold with a 7 under.
Not
James Conrad with
Not
a
one
7
person. 3 of them with 7s.
Austin Turner with a 6.
Oh, Austin Turner. Let's go, Austin.
That's incredible scores.
But also a 4 under showing its face on the leaderboard there. So a little bit of room. Usually we don't see 3 strokes, especially not on the front 9 of the first round of the event, to have that much disparity. But we are 9 holes in of a 3-round event here in Clearwater, the Preserve Championship.
Yeah, hey, while you're at it, like and subscribe.
Do it, because if you guys want to watch all 4 rounds of the USWDGC and the practice round, you got to be subscribed. Or you don't have to be subscribed, but it would be great if you were.
No, if you're subscribed, then you'll get the notification.
Oh, and then you'll know to watch it.
Exactly.
Seems like pretty easy stuff to me.